So you're fudding me and Michael.
It's alright.
Michael and me.
Oh, I'm including myself in that.
It's alright. We're exploring. This is all exploratory by nature.
Michael, when you say it like that, it sounds like you want to fuck me.
No.
In the ass.
I know how you conduct your explorations.
I only do them out of necessity and not preference.
Very good. Okay, so can I get story time now?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Yeah, you fucking highway robber.
Sure. I mean, the first day I fell asleep. I told you guys. Oh, I told James actually, didn't tell Artie. I've been having a nasty feeling in my throat for the last weeks. No, I told you, Artie. Yeah.
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, over text. And it has not gotten away, but I was confused as to why I had it. And then yesterday I gave Nastya back her umbrella, which she left here because it's going to rain all week. And that's what I was doing yesterday.
Giving her back her umbrella for 4 hours?
Like 3, yeah. Because then we ended up talking. And it was during the conversation, because before the conversation I didn't know why I felt this feeling. It was the same feeling I felt when we had our toxic relationship, but now it's like on paper everything is great. Like we don't expect anything from each other, and it's great. And I just feel good about being her friend and whatever. Like I'm not even trying to put any we kiss and stuff, but I'm not trying to put any definition on it. But it's just great that she's in my life. She's cool. She's like you guys, on the same level of endearment and happy that they're in my life, and I don't feel anything bad from her. And then but I still felt this feeling in my throat, and this feeling in my throat was similar to when we had our toxic relationship, and so but this time it was distinctly different because I had it whether or not I was thinking about her or not. It was just persistent all the time. And it felt like it was related to something a lot deeper than just her. Just her is kind of like the catalyst for this feeling rising up in me. But it's not directly as a result of her. It's not before, I knew why I had it. It was very obvious why I had it. It's because I'm combined too much with this person. My energy depends on this person's energy, and it feels bad. And when I'm apart from them, then it feels like I feel destabilized. And it was very obvious why I had it before. But and also whenever I hung out with her, whenever I had that feeling, I'd hang out with her or talk to her over the phone, and that feeling would go away immediately, straight immediately. And then when we leave again, it comes back. Except this time, when I hung out with her, she felt... when I hung out with her, that feeling was still there, and it did not lessen at all. And it was the same before and after. Before, during, and after. And also during our toxic relationship, that feeling, she would have it too, because we were very tied with our energy. So it's whenever I felt like shit, she would also feel like shit. And a lot of the time, it's how we have syncs with each other.
Right.
A lot of just I thought about you first time all day today. You wrote that's was the norm for us. And the thing is, this last week she's been feeling really good. She felt sort of some of that feeling just for a little bit, but was honest in saying that she just felt really good and is happy that we're hanging out and stuff, but doesn't expect anything of me. Last time I hung out with her before this, I told her I'm not gonna hang out for a while, and I don't know how long, but I feel really bad when we after we hang out, and I just feel really destabilized and not myself, which is all true, and just tired all the time. And I think I am detoxing some amount, but then also the detox is related to your physical and mental, so it's it's all a detox. I was just like, I just don't have a lot. I like hanging out with you, I just don't have a lot of energy, and I don't really like. And I just want to like focus on myself and be alone, which is what I did for 5 days. But I meant that in like could be a month, could be 2 months, could be 6 months, could be a year. I don't know. And she was like lovingly and gracefully accepted that. Just like was like, yeah, I dig it, dude. And so yeah, and then so we met 5 days ago. Or sorry, 5 days later, but that was yesterday. And we talked about this. And so those two things were cool. The fact that she didn't feel bad either. Like, she didn't feel bad about it. And also, my feeling didn't go away when I was with her. So that, like, gave me even more evidence that this is not a feeling directly related to her. Because also, like, it doesn't matter if I'm thinking about her or not. Yeah, it just... Sorry, James. I gotta... Your thing is like a like a washing machine for no reason. Just when it's silent.
It's like a respirator.
Yeah.
My shit's going off?
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe...
It sounds like you're on a freaking oxygen tank.
I mean, it's okay. It's fine. But, yeah, so those two things made me happy. Because I was like... Because it's not the same relationship we had before. It's a lot more... what's the word? A lot more
Stable.
Yeah. Those are the words I was thinking of. Yeah, like neutral, stable, real, not non-attachment, like genuine. Both feel like ourselves more. And like don't feel like pressure for in any single way to be somebody or do something for each other. Like yeah. So I was like, well, I have this feeling then. And I didn't realize it before, but I realized it during our conversation, which was about 2.5 hours. I have this thing where I think everybody has this to some extent, but maybe others less, others more. I have this thing where either I'm like really close to a person, like till the end, motherfucker, we the best. Or I like don't give a shit about them at all. Like, and that could happen with the same person too. Like that could happen with like, you know, like with an individual person, it could be one way, like some amount of time, and then the other way some other amount of time. And, of course, I know the binding together or attaching together with a person really hard is... I know that to be something I should not do. And so, in that way, I kind of over-skewed to the, like, I don't give a fuck about people sort of thing. Where it's like... I guess, easier way to say this... No, not there's more to say, but just it's better probably to say first. The reason I feel it.
I was gonna say, Mike, just real quick to help you, maybe help you phrase that. It's like.
I have no problem phrasing, by the way. I just the order in which I'm saying this probably makes sense.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Yeah,
never mind.
But I just wanted to say that I have this thing, so it's like The reason I feel that with Nastya is because I never really saw her as an equal to me, but now I do, in a lot of ways. And so I have a problem reconciling either between, like, super attaching to her or, like, not giving a fuck about her and, like, belittling her and, like, talking bad about her. And I have a difficulty in, like, just having a tension-free and genuine love for her. It's not a difficulty in that, like, I know it's what I want, but it's like, just energetically, I feel like it's bound to, so this is kind of where the big thing is. This is kind of like where the Nastya part of it ends and where the me part of it begins, because she is like the catalyst for me feeling this, but it's something that's like way, way super deep in me. Oh yeah, already I said this to James. This is probably like the biggest realization I had about myself in the last like 4 years, ever since like 2019. That so I have this thing where it's like either I'm super like bound to a person or I don't give a fuck about them, right? And so to not give a fuck about them, I like do this thing where I always judge how much better I am than somebody else. And then I say something like, well, they're just like a fucking idiot. Or like they're just like a fucking NPC.
You antagonize them.
Not to their face, but like for myself.
Right.
It's like I'm making a...
You antagonize them to legitimize your feelings of attachment. Or your desired level of attachment.
Yes. Yes. And, of course, there's, how to say, truth or... There's nothing wrong with discerning the type of energy that a person has and then deciding if you want to, like, engage with that or not. But I just, like, built... Ever since I found out about the concept of NPCs, like really ever since 2019. Because before 2019, you remember me already, I was like fucking, I was loud as fuck. I was like telling everybody everything, all the spiritual stuff. Hey, you want to hear about Flat Earth? You want to hear about this? It's like trying to help everybody. I like considered like other people like more important than me in a sense. Because I'm like, well, there's only one of me and there's a bunch of people. So it's like, you know, like helping people was like the mission. You know what I mean? And then after 2019, that kind of like skewed to the other way where it was like, fuck everybody, all me. Which is kind of how it's supposed to be, but it's like I did it in a toxic way where it's like, that I call like cold love, right? In terms of like, we hold our energy, we're responsible for our own energy, we have self-discipline for our own energy, and so we don't, how to say... A lot of the time, an expression of love for somebody else in terms of wanting them to do healing actions and to like have, like promote healing energy in them. It doesn't like sound like, oh, I love you and we're gonna hang out. You know, that could involve like not hanging out with someone or like telling them that they're being an asshole or something. You know, so in that way, that's like a cold love, right? But when I took this approach, I kind of forgot a lot of the love part of cold love. It was just coldness, like. In terms of, the way I justify it is like I have this.
I think what it is that when you dove deep into the spiritual stuff, altruism was such a fundamental aspect of your MO that in order to distance yourself from that way of being / distance yourself from people, you didn't know how to do it without throwing that altruism / sense of love into the garbage.
Yeah, you said that real well, man. Yeah. It's like I was like strung to one side of the scale, and then like just went to the complete other one. Yeah, exactly.
Which I gotta say, I'm really happy that you're realizing this. I think it's a really big. I think time will show that this is a pivotal point in your journey, because I gotta say, especially as someone that like always looked up to you, to put it as plainly as possible, I always it like recently it just would always seem like I would think to myself, it's like, damn, Michael's such an asshole to people, but I know he's not. But I know he isn't one, and that it's not his intention.
Yeah, it's like, of course there is still something to be said in terms of like, because it's like it's a centeredness, right? It's like not giving yourself away and being contained in your own energy, but also it's not like being such a selfish, disconnected person, you know? It's just like not a good life to live. If it was, I would live that life, but I have. And it's like, I realized a lot of like my discomforts have been because of that, because of like that skewing to that side. And yeah, I will, I wanted to speak on that, but a little bit later. So the way I'd phrase it most, what this thing is, as an energy, is like a self-defense mechanism of, and like the more I look back, and I didn't realize this because like, usually when I have some uncomfortable feeling in me, I can identify pretty quickly what it is. Like, and I never like identify with that feeling. It's very like removed from me, and I know where the illusion is. It could still stick around, but I could like look at it and I just keep looking at it until it goes away. But with this, I really like self-identified with this feeling like a lot, like throughout my whole life, honestly. Like, and it stems back to childhood traumas is the word I use. No one ever like hit me or nothing, like, you know, so it's not like real trauma, but like, you know, just feelings of insecurity. Just like even in like the 5th grade, like all my motivation was always like trying to be better than other people. And it's like, and it just like became like this fucking like edgy, like this like edgy, like side of me that's like so useless. Like the more this, cause it's like this like big ass fucking like piece of a tree or something that's like it's like stuck in my soul, and then it's like if you take it out, I see like how it's like literally like permeated throughout like how I view everything, how I view all my people, how I view like myself, like everything, because I did like self-identify with it, and I never like, and I didn't see it, and now that I see it, it's very obvious, like it's like obvious as fuck that it's like not part of me, and it's like not a helpful part of me, you know, it's not helpful to my consciousness. But that thing was like stuck around ever since I was like little, like 10 or something. I don't know exactly when, but feeling that a lot. And yeah, it's just like not helpful. It's just like I live my life like sizing people up in terms of like how woke they are, or like, you know, or it's like, okay, that guy's buff, oh yeah, well I'm woke, like fucking he's probably stupid. Like I don't know, it's just like, so what is this, how does this help you? Like how does this like make your conscious, and how does this uplift your life? Like what does that do to like make you feel alive, to like have like some hard ass like, yeah, I'm better than everyone else? And then it's like, when I do talk to people, I don't really have I can have connection, and I feel like I do have connection better than most, which is a funny statement to make in this context. But I feel like I do have connection better than most, but still I'm always like living life through like this interface, or like this filter where it's like, yeah, but I'm still better than you, like kind of thing. And it's just like, why? Like, why the fuck? Or even like, you know, a lot of these like uncomfortable feelings about like, you know, I don't want to share my notes. You know what I mean? Or it's like, oh, why are fucking Artie's friends? Why are they getting a job while I'm getting a job? Like, you know, like you remember we talked about that, Artie. And I was like, oh man, these fucking NPCs getting a job, like they don't deserve it. You know, whatever. Like, what is that? How is that helpful? Like, how the fuck is that helpful to me? You know, like how coherent is that, even with the understanding that everything happens in divine synchronicity and like without accident? You know, it's just like this perspective, this like edgy, like don't touch me and nobody touch is like, it's just a defense mechanism, which is like stems all the way back to like childhood of like it's just like an energy of insecurity about like connected to so many things, like so fucking deep. And it's like, that's why I didn't see it for so long. But now that I'm seeing it, it's like, holy shit, that's like fucking a lot. Like, that's not something that's getting resolved in like 2 days, you know? That's like years of shit.
I gotta say, Mike,
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Thanks, man.
I'm super serious because anyone that knows you well enough, and by anyone, I mean me and James and probably not a single other soul on this planet, is that you're, anyone that knows you well knows that your biggest, what's the phrase? Your biggest disconnection with things for like years now has been this like self-imposed, basically how you've been describing it, like I don't even want to call it a superiority complex, although if that's how you experience it within yourself, then I guess that's what it is. But like kind of just connecting it to what I said earlier about you using your, I forgot what I said, you were justifying your, or you, like how you were saying you went so opposite of how you were before, like you would be altruistic and like kind of wanting to maybe not necessarily help people always, but like seeing what can you experience by exploring like interaction with them with that energy.
Yeah.
And so like you hard, like the opposite of that became, oh, they are not energy worth interacting with. Perhaps they are not energy at all in the sense that they are NPCs. Maybe they are just purely finite constructs.
Well,
Which,
yeah. Go on. Sorry.
I mean, just speaking purely from a symbolic sense, it's like I just feel like thinking that to any extent. This might sound extreme, but believing that to any extent at all is like it just goes very much against the whole thing of like we are here in a, like maybe this experience is finite, but you know, I mean, everything here is a reflection of something infinite, which is a part of you. And so it's like, well, it's funny. I guess this moment you're having is one of those energies coming full circle. Is like your this like feeling, or rather not this feeling that you've had, but this almost like this feeling you've been refusing to have for so long, like this unwillingness to connect with people has manifested in the form of like you thinking that they're NPCs or whatever it is, or just like those judgments that you said you were making.
I will courteously stop you right there because
Good, because I was done.
awesome. I got the feeling that no, it's kind of the opposite. Like the NPC realization led to that. I do still think people are NPCs, or many people are, but that's still, and I'll also say that like me veering to that side was like a necessary thing to do, because now I know where the pitfalls are in terms of overly combining with other people or making investments in people. I still don't think people should make investments with other people or depend on them. But it is a centeredness to have. But the NPC thing, this is in the context of me still fully, whether you disagree with me or not, this is in the context of me fully knowing that that most people are NPCs. That
I'm not saying anything to agree or disagree with that.
I hear you.
I guess kind of the thing I was trying to get at is that
It would be the logical justification for like, yeah, being like super closed in my energy and like just turning into a sulking like
right,
person.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like it could be, or like don't use it as a. I mean, or rather, you really know whether you're using it as a justification to uh to avoid the discomfort of interacting with a certain energy that another person might represent. And so I guess I'm just saying, like, be cautiously aware of that.
Yeah, it has been like it's like it's a centeredness to have about it in terms of like there is a huge part of this whole process I think is discernment of other people's energies, what kind of energies are helpful to interact with. But I said before too that it's like I try not to go around, and I don't generally go around my life being like, oh, that's an NPC, that's an NPC. It's just I feel people's energies, and it's like if it's
right.
something alive or if it's something ordinary, then it's like I feel that.
Yeah, what might be. And this is just something I thought of as you were saying this statement now that might help you navigate this. Is you might have developed certain like unconscious biases for like it totally checks that you get a certain vibe from someone, and that tells you that they just have NPC energy that you don't want to spend your time on. But there also might be certain things that or rather patterns that you've noticed over the years and developed kind of like a muscle for identifying them as like maybe an indication of that energy that is not worth your time. But also, maybe sometimes you see those like what might be an indicator one person might not necessarily be an indicator in another person, and most of the time it is because that's how generalizations work. But there are exceptions, presumably. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta take it just like whoever I enjoy talking to is somebody worth talking to. But also in that way, it's like whatever insecurities I have inside of me and whatever defense mechanisms I have inside of me that would prevent that genuine discernment of like an actual energy. Whatever insecurities I have or self-defense mechanisms I have, they might get in the way in terms of that sensor. Is a way I would put it. And that... But even then, it's like, it's like, even if I don't want to interact with somebody, it's like, in a way, have been fearful of interacting with other people because I know my previous tendency of overly combining with other people and having and like leaning my imbalances on like through those interactions. So like for example, like before 2019 where I was like spiritual guy and like, hey everybody learn about this and this, oh I care about y'all so much, you guys should know this. It's like I'm not looking at myself. Like I'm unconsciously like doing this to avoid looking at myself. Be like, oh, work on other people, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm really wary of those things now, and then so it's like in a way, I think this edgy like I don't give a fuck about anybody and like I'm better than them and like this is all about me, which technically all those things are still true, but it's like or not that I'm better than other people. Like,
No, I hear you.
yeah,
It's just like, yeah, no, they're still retards. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, exactly. It's just like, yeah, some people's energy are like this, some people's energy are like that. Like, even if all those things are still like true, it's still like I have like this. It's like a fear of interacting with other people because it's a fear of myself that I will make those mistakes again. And then so with that, I always have to speak with like this removed, untouchable interface of like, it's nothing I'd say. It's just like this thing that I hold, and like a lot of the like conscious justification of that is just like, fuck them, I'm better than them. Yeah, and I'm just like looking at it, and I'm just like looking at my life, and I'm just like, man, like, what's a better version of me? Is like a version that's like full of energy and no fear and no tension and can talk to anybody about anything, and if it helps them, then great. If it doesn't help them, then great. And just like shine. Just like shine because you like shining, and whoever gets anything from that, great. It's because we're all here to heal, and like not to say I'm helping them heal. It's just I'm just being me, and whoever gets good shit out of it, that's even better,
Right,
like in this synchronistic, like we're all healing together, kind of like we're all healing ourselves, but through that we all heal together, like
Right.
And while still being conscious of like my energy being mine, right? So that's like, what's better, that person or like a person who's like constantly like like disconnected, like it's like a wounded animal that's like and doesn't like let anybody get close to them, and like doesn't have a genuine connection with anyone, or like always speaking through a filter, or like, and then this leads to like I realized like a lot of these like uncomfortable ass thoughts that I had like the last months of like it is like it just turns into like this like fearful, paranoid, like anxious person of like fucking always like shaking and trembling about like, oh, I hope they don't look at my notes or my resume, or like fucking, why are these friends like fucking getting a job, like, they shouldn't be getting, like, what's a better person, like what's a better version of myself that I want to be, you know what I mean? And it's like I realized that like it just like sunk so deep into my personality for so many years. Like, because it was there before. It was there before, like, 2019, too. But just that it, like, really came to the forefront after 2019. In terms of, like, my conscious, like, how I view myself. And how I interact with other people. And it's just, like, it creates, like, this tension in my mind where it's, like, I'm never actually relaxed. Because I'm always thinking, like, oh, how is this person like going to slurp me, or like how to say it, it's just like I'm always like wary, but it's not the actual person slurping you, it's like you slurping you because you give that energy like your energy,
right?
And so
fucking muted this whole fucking time.
I was like, damn, James just a really good listener.
This is fucking horseshit.
I didn't see your mouth move, though. If I did, I would have said something.
Yeah, I did. Fuck, man. I am a good listener. I was listening. Please continue. But I just realized that if I like tried to say something like 5 times, and like I was like, damn, these niggas really don't care.
Damn, I'm sorry, dude. Damn, no.
Did you say something?
I feel like I...
Yeah, I've been chatting.
Sorry, dude.
That's crazy. Yeah. Or bad. The collective bad.
Yeah. I don't know if I can just jump in here, man. I think it's a really cool evolution. And it's a really cool evolution. I think, personally, as someone who's always valued interpersonal connection as a means for spiritual growth, it has, in the past, caused me disheartened and pain to see you, at least from my perspective, perceived as receding into yourself, or rather protecting yourself from an experience in order to preserve your energy. And obviously it's like not like doesn't fully encapsulate, I guess, what you do. You
I
know,
get
there
what
have
you
just
mean.
been times. What's that?
I get what you're trying to say.
Um, so actually, it brings me joy. It brings me joy to listen to you espouse this perspective, not necessarily because it aligns with my own, but because I feel like it's a great step forward. And I think you make a very good point addressing the fact that, um, like what, like, I should just shine, just shine and be a person. And I think, in the spiritual community, a lot of folks, most folks, every folk has a tendency to, and just in general, but I'm talking specifically to spiritual community, has a tendency to fixate on one analytical perspective, which oftentimes comes to the forefront of every decision that they make. Um, and let's say for the spiritual people, because spiritual people are oftentimes much more cognizant of the decisions that they're making.
Like my boy
And
Devil's Mage.
who?
Devin.
Okay. Um,
I don't agree with that, by the way, but
what?
or I wouldn't group him into that camp. But continue.
I thought James might as well. I said it out of curiosity to see if he agreed.
I hear you.
Group Devin into which camp exactly?
The people that focus on one analytical perspective.
Right. I don't know anything about Devin, so I can't really attest to that either way. What was I saying? Yeah, I don't know enough about him to say. I don't watch those videos to say if he's analytical or overly analytical. But I think, in general, a group of people, who are a class of people who have a tendency to be very cognizant of their own activities, we always all run the risk of becoming overly analytical. I know for myself, it can oftentimes seep out for me, like every decision I make, I'm weighing whether or not it's good or bad for me. I woke up 10 minutes later. Is that good or bad for me? Did I? Or I shat now instead of shitting later. I had too many blackberries. Should I have had more blueberries? We're really just fixating on shit. And it's exhausting. It's a very exhausting thing. So, nature of such, I think it's really, really fun when people reach a point where they're able to analyze their analysis and look at what exactly is tying the brain off from evolution. So I applaud your self-analysis. I think it's a very exciting step in one's personal development to adorn humility to alter their ways. So, without declaring any which way of whether your ways are wrong or right, I think what you're saying now is a breath of fresh air.
I dig it, buddy. The fun.
I'm so glad I finished what I was saying, like right now. So I know this nigga was not going to stop for me, bro.
Sorry. I forgot to. I actually knew I was about to go into the airport, and I should have muted myself. My bad.
It's not like I don't do that every second of the day.
Lol.
I'm making a smoothie.
Nice.
I dig it. No, brother, I dig it. The only thing I'll say in regards to that is that the word, I still wouldn't say humility is a good trait to have in terms of I still think I'm the shit. But I shouldn't use that to lower other people, you know? Or it's like almost like that's my goal almost. You know what I mean? Like that's what this like imbalance does. It's like I'm constantly comparing myself to others and like it's almost like I don't want people to be quote unquote better than me in like any aspect. It's fucking like so toxic. But I still think I'm the shit. And God and everything. So it's like, you know.
I would just place humility on the opposite side of pride.
Yeah, it's like it's a toxic pride. You know, we just don't have lack of words for it.
Exactly. Well, I would just call it pride. Being raised Catholic and all.
Because I am still proud. I'm proud of myself for everything I did and who I am and what I'm doing.
I agree with that. That's fine. That's good. It's like, yeah, I guess like pride is a funny word for it too, because pride is also just an antiquated term for arrogance.
Right. Yeah.
But arrogance is also something a little bit different than that as well. But yeah, no, it's good to be proud of who you are. But I don't think humility. Well, it's weird, bro, and these definitions don't exactly work. But I'm using the word because it's fucking easier than
I know. Yeah, we're just wording.
I don't think that involves necessarily putting yourself down. So I'll continue to use the word.
Yeah, I get you. Just for me, the word humility always has this context of like religious. It has like a religious context in terms of like you're a piece of shit. Like, you know what I mean? And like you're a simple fucker. Like, be humble and bow down or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like it has that context for me.
I do understand that, and most people would agree with you. However, most people haven't read Plato.
Bam.
And humility a lot, and he has a much better, I guess, like usage for it that helped me shatter the connotation of like self-deprecation.
Right. You remember I said that thing like that a normie said, where it was like it's okay to change. You know, like you remember I talked about that one time.
Like one time, like recently?
Yeah, like a week ago or something. There was just like one time I heard this normie say that, and I'm just like, it was just like a normie like short, like YouTube short video, and it was like, he's just saying like it's okay to change. Like it's okay to acknowledge that you're not, the most ideal version of yourself, and it's okay to change. Like in that way, like, like that definition of humility, I totally dig.
Yeah. I guess like I could see it as like pride is kind of like the way I think of it is like pride is this miasmic veil that we place over our own like lens in order to prevent us from actually looking at ourselves.
Right.
And humility is just like the scrub that squeaky cleans the lens.
I got you. For me, it's always like it's kind of meta in that way.
I got it. It's kind of like whatever term you want to use for it. Maybe there's a better word for it. It's like having humility is the process of removing any preconceived notions that you have of yourself. Looking at yourself completely objectively, cleanly, freshly, in that very moment.
I get you.
And oftentimes it's used as a way to kind of like check oneself, so it does create that connotation.
Yeah, right. It could be like a toxic humility, just like there could be a toxic pride. Maybe we should just use those words.
Right, and toxic humility is definitely a thing because it's like fucking like if you're constantly like wiping your slate clean, you can't form an objective opinion about yourself. You can't form any, there's nothing to stand on. You're just you literally in living in humility is living in worthlessness. Or nothingness, not worthlessness.
Right.
Nothing. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't want to make it about definitions, but just down that word. So I think it's a great term, and I think it's a great process for which I perceive it in my head. And I think that process that you are engaging in, very cool.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. It's like kind of I'm really happy. I still have this feeling in my throat, by the way, but I and I hope keep staying because it doesn't let me forget all these things. Not that I will forget. I already wrote this down and record all this shit a million times. I'm not gonna forget, but you can't forget after you see something like that. But just to, undo those things. I like get this like mental vision in my head of like something like it's like lodged like deep inside of me. It's like the things that are the deepest is like I self-identify with those, such that they just become part of the background. But then once you see them, it's so obvious because I could say it's not me because it's disempowering, If it was empowering, then it's me because I like that. I can live in that. My soul can eternally live in that empowerment, but it can't live in this. Like, it wouldn't want to live in this disempowerment of, like, this disconnection.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But that being said, it is, like, such a thin line to tread on. How to say? This is why I like the term, like, centeredness rather than balanced. Because it's, like, balanced would like, imply that it's, like, you have to tread on it all the time and, like, be really careful not to fall off. Like, be balanced, But this is like a gravitation towards like your true self where it's like, yeah, the motherfucker's full of love with himself, full of love for all creation, like doesn't have any like tension points in terms of, his actions or how he interacts with other people. And at the same time, like feels his energy all the time. So knows not to give it away or like attach to people,
I like goodness. That invoked good shit in me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a magnetic pull to like your inner, but it's not like a balancing act where it's like you have to like, always monitor everything.
Yeah, a balance is quite literally like the tension between two opposing forces.
Right, yeah. Yeah. So it's like just getting pulled into that and I'm just like, oh shit. I'm like, what's my goal here is just like to have to find out about myself, but like what's the ultimate goal of that is like just live an open, free and alive existence, and to not have any tension like in my heart. And it's like, man, this whole like self-identity I built up over like years is like, wow, that's like so antithetical. Like I'm just seeing how there can be another way, And I'm just like, whoa, that's like, fuck, it literally like fucking blows the doors like wide open. Like straight like wide open. It's like crazy. I can't like overstate how crazy it's so simple too. Like it's such a simple, like a normie can say this and like, like a psychologist could fucking like say this. You know what I mean?
That's kind of space. Say what?
Oh, like everything I'm saying, in terms of like, this like self-defense mechanism for birth, and like you can't like connect with people fully. You know what I mean? It's like you could hear this shit in like a YouTube short. It's like that obvious.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, and I think one thing that is very cool and interesting and revealing is in this discourse how it's shown that despite the fact that we're talking about what might seem as a fundamental condition for existence, like we are, hearing you come to certain realizations about yourself, but none of us, one, we're not treating it as such, but two, we're also not even like thinking of, me and Artie are not like thinking of it as like, oh well, like how did it take this long for this nigga to realize something like this? It's like it's still presented as like a fresh perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really cool. And I think what's cool about it especially is how much value you get out of it. Because how much you value it, to me, reveals how deeply you are aware of how it impacts you.
Yeah, dude, this shit is like, I just imagine like a circle that's like, I have this like mental image of like a circle, and it's like, that's my soul, right? And this shit is just like a fucking like a piece of tree bark that's just like really like close to the center, you know, to, like really like lodged in there real good, you know. And I'm just like take it out like a little bit, and I feel how it's like, wow, I have to like reconnect like a bunch of shit, like like that shit is so ingrained into like so many like thought patterns, and just like I even like felt like just like ruminating it on like the last like 24, it's only been 24 hours since then, and like even like smoking, dude, like I realized like my smoke, like this is like limiting my self-expression, because I'm like, I don't know, it's like you turn to just like this sulking like by yourself guy.
Wait, Artie, I was loving everything you were saying. I want to hear more of what you have to say, bro. Please don't leave me.
What?
I said I was loving everything you were saying, and I want to hear more of the loving things that you say. Please don't leave me.
I've been silent for like the last 10 minutes.
I know, but now I see you with a video game controller in your hand.
Get fucking shit on, nerd. I'm still listening. I'm still listening.
Oh, okay. Fine, but I wanted you to say more things because you had such beautiful things to say.
I did.
I dug him. Well,
You
want me to say more things?
No, I'll tell you what. You can game. You can, and I'm sorry, Michael. I totally
no, it's all good. No, it's all
suck your
good.
steez right out of your steez hole. I'll totally let you game, Artie, in peace, no less. But you have to give me your next 2 cents before you touch that game. I think that's a fair exchange. Michael, is that a fair exchange?
I'll give you a little more
Yeah,
than 2 cents. I'll give you a little more than 2 cents, because guess what? Michael, don't take this the wrong way. The last few minutes, I've been like completely stuck in my own head, thinking about like, because Michael's talking about it was some words that were said along down the road of this conversation, you know, with the topic being Michael realizing how he's limiting himself insofar as his interactions with other people, or at least as part of the overarching thing, but maybe that being like the main way in which it manifests. And also mentioned at some point how it connects to his, you know, stuff he experienced in his childhood. And it got me thinking about how I limit myself by the opposite, by seeking interaction with people. And I've kind of said this to some extent before. Oh, you know, earlier, like a month ago, when I said that I kind of like don't want to hear people speak as much. I kind of just want to be left alone to my own thoughts. Well, like, I guess that hasn't gotten away. If anything, that feeling has become stronger and stronger, and it kind of like.
You mean the feeling of wanting to just vibe with yourself and not listen to people talk?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess just hearing all this stuff made me think about it. I don't really want to take the show away.
This is the show, baby.
No, Michael. It's Michael's turn to play the game.
Man, what a lad. What a Chad.
Michael hasn't.
I gotta take my shirt off.
Nice, dude.
Michael hasn't asked for therapy in so long. He's always the one dishing it out like a fucking infinite dispenser.
That's true. I haven't been on the Theric podium for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now niggas fucking orating as fuck. So who am I to talk about my problems when you kind of already know them partially?
Thanks, dude. Well, I will say, I think it's like, it's all like necessary. You know what I mean? I feel that way too a lot of the time where it's like, I don't want to, like, who knows me better than me? And it's like, I don't want your fucking opinions. You know what I mean? I felt that the last, like, week. You know what I mean? Even. And for good reason, because it's like, sometimes we just gotta be alone with our thoughts, so I totally dig that. But, you know best.
No, but for me, it's like, damn. I really want to, like... I want to distance myself from other people in an extreme way. But it's hard to do that without...
Right.
having lasting, potentially unwanted side effects.
Right, I hear you.
Like, I didn't want to... Like, I want to move away somewhere where I could be by myself. Well, like, maybe within, like, not too far of a drive from the city.
Right.
So I could see my family if it's needed.
Right.
But yeah, it's like...
I feel you, dude.
Well, also because... it's funny, the other day, I think yesterday I was thinking about this. I was thinking about how there's such a huge, very, very, very long list of ways in which I would like to improve. However, I don't care about any of those things as standalones for me to, like, really want to pursue any of them with, like, unyielding tunnel vision type of energy. And so it's like, but then, also I'm aware that, like, well, if I really want to improve in any way, then, like, I could just, like, do something, anything, and just, like, see what happens over time.
Right.
And I kind of, like, broke that down a little bit. It's like, you have improving yourself. It involves not only cultivating high energy stuff, habits, lifestyle choices, things like that, but also separating yourself from low frequency stuff. Mostly just like impulses, things that distract you from whatever it is that you feel like you ought to be doing in the moment that you're distracted.
Right.
And so it's like, I've had this feeling for a very long time of, like, I might have expressed this to you guys a while ago. I've been feeling like this for years now. Probably, like, maybe also about that long, Michael, like maybe 4 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit longer.
of like wanting to like I've always had this very deep and like hard to picture slash articulate desire to like just get a like the way I'll put it like this, like I picture like my life and everything in it and like all the things that I've experienced and the like the energy I embody and all like the people I know and the things that I do and the places that I've seen and grown familiar with and all this stuff. I just picture it as one big sphere of energy, which like you could say is me, and I want to like move as far away from that energy as possible and all those energies, while still of course being me or whatever. And it's like it's weird, you know, because like there's like things that I might not necessarily want to move away. Like if I break it down to individual stuff, you know, like for example, like my family or you guys. I don't. I mean, maybe kind of sometimes with family, I guess, but not really. It's like if I can, you know, when I imagine myself undergoing a change that would make me stop feeling like this, I imagine myself still having like, you know, a healthy connection with my family and you guys and stuff.
Right.
But it still just feels like all one big ball of stuff. And you know, part of me is thinking like, am I just finding an overly convoluted way to say that I don't like myself and the situation that I'm in? Maybe. Probably. Part of it is also or part of the reason I don't want to believe that, or should I say, like, my bad, I'm going crazy. I just I've been for a long time now been in a very good position to help myself, where I always have financial support and I'm like not constrained in the sense that I don't have like anyone that's gonna sit here and judge me based on what I do and or try to stop me from doing things. And you know, I have like a car, I could go wherever I want. That and I'm well aware of like things that I could do to be different, but I've never found the drive to like do anything. And so I don't know like a few conclusions I could come to after that. The most likely one, which is the one that I really don't want it to be the case, is that I'm literally just a piece of shit. Just a lazy, good for nothing, cocksucking piece of shit. The other conclusion is that I really am operating from energy that I don't truly identify with. And I'm operating from it, / it is so much not something I identify with that I just feel like this perpetual sense of being in shambles. Like, I feel drunk sometimes. Like, you know when you're drunk and you kind of like, alright, you know like when you get drunk and you by yourself and it's just this feeling of like, you feel numb as to like what's going on around you, and then you start thinking about like, what should I do right now? And it kind of just feels like defaulting to like the easiest thing to do, I guess. I don't know. It's just kind of how I feel all the
No, I
time.
get what you mean. Kind of like you're just processing everything halfway.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Or, I mean, I'm equating it to the feeling of being broken alone.
Right.
Not necessarily what you're feeling right now.
Or the aspect I'm trying to hone in on is like, you have no sense of cognitive direction. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you dissociate ever?
Huh?
Do you ever dissociate?
I don't know what that means. I mean, what do you mean by dissociate?
Like, do you ever have moments where in the moment you feel like you're fading away from yourself and your senses?
For myself and what?
Your
Surroundings? Oh,
Yeah, your
senses.
senses.
Can you be like, I think I get what you're trying to say, but can you be a little more specific? Because like that can, for example, happen when you're high as shit.
Yeah, it does happen when you're high as shit.
But what would that look like as like just like a sober person, or
Like
just like a
like that. Not high, just like kind of like okay, you know when you're high and like your voice in your head is so loud that everything outside of you is quieter and like more
oh,
muted.
that's like normal for me.
Right, right. And
Like
so
I'm
then,
permanently like that.
but then it's like, but then it's like your own perception of things, not necessarily even your voice in your head, but your own perception of things is so loud or so much in the forefront of your awareness that everything else, including your own voice in your head, is like muted.
No, OD, I'll give you a prime example of this. This is something I do all the time. This is something I do no matter who I'm speaking to, no matter my energy levels, no matter how serious or how unimportant the subject matter of the conversation is. It doesn't matter if it's you guys, if it's my roommates or my family, or just like random niggas, or like Hazel when I was with her. It matters absolutely zero whatsoever who I'm speaking to or what I'm speaking to them about. I like at some point, and I never, or yeah, I like never notice the exact moment that it happens, but I do notice it once it's already happening, where I just first and foremost completely stop listening. Just completely gone, like zero.
Wait, why'd you say I stopped listening?
I said, "Are you fucking with me?"
Yes, yes.
Oh, then damn, then it's not that funny. Not because I'm offended, because the authenticity is ruined. But it's a good one still. Yeah, basically. So I completely stopped listening, and then I'll start like to be honest, I could be thinking about like anything. It could be like it could be something that the person said, and like I'm trying to formulate a response to something they said, and I'm like stuck on that instead of even though like the conversation's already moved past that, or I can like or they'll be talking about themselves or something that they're experiencing, and I start thinking about how I would be in a similar situation or have been in a similar situation,
No, I feel you.
or I think about some completely unrelated, just like has zero bearing on the conversation. Like
No, totally.
it could be something that happened to me. It could be just like
Dude, Artie, when you first started talking, I was literally thinking about in my head how much I hate the spelling of the word fun cake. Not even kidding.
I do that shit all the time,
Right. I know.
multiple times in like a single 5 minute conversation. I could do that like 3 times.
Like 10 times, yeah.
And like
Okay, I understand. I asked you this question for information gathering purposes.
I figured, I was about to say, I don't know if this answers your question or gives you what you wanted, but
It does, but I won't give you my thesis until I've written more out.
oh, so are you gonna continue interrogating me or what?
No. I don't need you as a guinea pig anymore. You're free.
Go run into the forest.
No, I mean I wasn't asking that because out of what's the word? Well, I'm asking because I want you to. If you do have things to ask.
All right.
Because I figured you were going somewhere with this, and I was interested.
Well, all right. Yeah, that's why I wanted to give it a sec. I'm gonna come back to this. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, but I'm gonna stay on it because I got a working theory. I just don't wanna. I don't want to say it before I have enough mental processing around it.
Yo, I'm peeling this grape. This shit looks like a testicle.
See, you did it again. Although, like most.
No,
Like,
that doesn't count.
no, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. But most of that, in general, is just like standard ADHD nonsense.
Oh, but I do it to myself while I'm like if I'm just walking. Like if I go to the park and go out for a walk. I'm thinking about some stuff. I will do it to myself, like to the voice in my head.
You said you'll do what else?
Just like get distracted, I guess.
Sure, let's call it that.
Like, yeah, I get you.
To this day, James, those crickets sound like a Brooklyn crackhead on like a stolen rusty BMX that he's about to sell for more crack. That he originally what's the word, repossessed from your local 7-year-old.
It's really that unpleasant.
It's not about pleasant or unpleasant. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It's just so uncanny.
I got you.
Because it also doesn't sound like. Yeah, I peeped. It's blue in our screens.
I dig it.
It doesn't sound like multiple sound sources. It just sounds like one that's on loop. Like, when you're outside, you could tell there's multiple crickets, but through the screen, it just sounds like one of them. Which is why the bike thing is more like viable.
That is specifically one cricket doing that. Yes.
Oh well, tell him.
Something give
me my
back that bike, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what.
What do you say?
We said tell him to give back the bike.
Yeah, right. He can't. He needs it to crack.
Mm-hmm.
Just gas.
Anyway, all that I guess is around the point, which is that I love hearing your voice, and thank you for your 10 cents.
So you were using me.
You gave me more than 10 cents. You gave me a fucking rusty nickel I could pay for crack with. Thank you.
Nice.
Was it using you? No. I actually wanted to hear more about what you're saying. I just didn't want to detract from Michael's big moment. It's his prom day.
It's my prom day, guys.
Michael's getting married today.
He's getting married to the game.
That's for real.
Michael, come on, say your vows already.
I vow to be the best I can be. That's all I got.
That's hot.
But I was saying, just I feel like how in general it's just so, it just permeates everything. Like so much. I said like it's like a visual. I had this visual constantly. When I was closing my eyes, just like my soul is just like a circle.
That's sort of very nice. I'll take your visualization.
And then like maybe the closest part, it's like light blue, and then maybe the closest part is just a slightly darker shade of light blue. And there's just like this icicle or like piece of wood that's just like lodged into it and like touching that inner. It's not in it, but it's like touching it. It's like deep in there.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just feel like how it just permeates everything. Just like, wow. Like, they do, some subsection of psychologists or spiritual people talk about, like, childhood traumas. And I never actually, like, really gave too much.
Into it?
I mean, like, clearly, I just, it's like we accumulate so much, like, false beliefs about ourselves and such, right? But I never really, like, examined that in myself, like, how it relates to, like, my youth, right? And, like, it, like, so does. It, like, so fucking does, dude. The same, like, defense mechanisms that I developed then are, like, the same defense mechanisms that I have now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like wild, like so wild, and it's like I just envision like taking out that icicle just like a little bit, and then it's like now there's just, like all this like surface area of like where it once was, and like so much needs to be reconnected, because it's just like so deeply ingrained, just like my view of myself, my view of the world, like like those fundamentally don't change because I know what truth is, what it feels like. That like its characteristic, like its defining characteristic that it is empowering. But it's just like in terms of an unconscious, like how I view the world, how I view other people, how I talk, and like just like my how to say like lizard reactions, like for
Yeah,
lack of a better
sure.
word,
Constant impact. Yeah.
just like these unconscious like processes. It's like so much is bound up with that, and just like my self expression in general is so bound up in that, and I even like just like this like off of 24 hours of just like looking at this feeling, and it's like smoking is like a big part of that. Meaning like smoking is a big like symptom of that because it's like you're even like off of the chakra shit, like your expression chakra is like in your throat, and it's like I have this feeling in my throat and I smoke in my throat, so it's like a constant like limiting self like expression thing. And of course, it like relates to like the thyroid gland, which I'm also reckoning this like I started feeling this like now like I'm raw for the first time in like ever, like for almost a year at this point, and uh, but now I'm like started exercising, and then I started feeling that like well, it started happening with like Nostin, but I don't think it's like an accident that it also started happening like around the time where it's like I'm integrating like I don't know like the health in terms of the detox and then the health in terms of exercising. I feel like they're sort of like masculine and feminine as well,
Mhm.
and it's like just like this integration. I know I have some sort of huge imbalance in my throat, so it's probably related to like a physical detox too, because it's like the mental and the physical detox processes happen like in synchronicity, I think. And if you have like a big emotional wave of something, that's something like clearing up in your body too. And man, it's just like yeah, like with like smoking, for example, like I feel how it's like that. It's just like that disconnection or like that defense mechanism creates like these tension points in my consciousness that like just don't allow like energy or love or acceptance or just like the feeling of connection to like the all doesn't allow it to flow through my body because now there's like this tension point of like
Mm-hmm.
and I feel it so it's like very obvious. It's like very obvious and I'm like holy shit that's like fucking it's just like so crazy. And it's just
Yeah.
like off of 24 hours of like looking at it and just like I see all the fucking like places where these like tension points are like built up in me. But it was like I identified so much with that feeling. Like so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like proud of that feeling. But then it's like now I see it and it's like, no man, like all this like anxiety and paranoia and like it's all like like I don't want to say like stemming from that, but it's like that's like a huge it's all stemming from like this collective like illusory false beliefs and like traumas like these like energies that are unresolved, right? And but like this is like a huge part of that. It's like a gigantic part of that. And it's like yeah.
That's really cool, man. That's also very well said. Um, that's one thing for one reason I've always found such value in sound contemplation, as opposed to just meditation in general, like specifically sound contemplation. Um, so like one thing that I think dieting does so well is effortlessly remove physical and mental blockages.
Who did so well? Who did that so well?
Dieting.
Oh, died.
Like obviously it's not effortlessly. Like the effort is in the diet, but like there is no effort in removing physical and mental blockages specifically or like directly addressed in that. It's just like a happy symptom. Um, whereas in the form of like silent contemplation, like there is like a specific effort made toward removing physical and mental blockages. And something I've always found really good in it is the way it enables you to see those exact things that you were describing, Michael. One second.
What's up? What's up?
Thanks, man. Yeah, like silent contemplation is such like a great tool for self-examination, and not just like self-examination of like your current self, but like really allows you to draw those connections, like in the same way acid might. I know for me, like one thing that I always drew from my past was the idea of how my dad inadvertently taught me how to lie. And I was a big, like, my ability to lie and my propensity to lie was always like a really big, I was always like, I don't know, it was always holding me back. You know, I always felt like a lesser person or like a shitty person, or so I used to lie a lot, up until like a few years ago, and I never really understood why, or yeah, I understood why, but I never really like got like why I chose it as like my primary alternative for social interaction, and silent contemplation enabled me to realize that like I do it because it's the same thing my dad did to me my whole life growing up. You
Right.
know, is lie to me in order to get what he wants out of me. Um, and so, but that's all. I think it's very cool. I think it's a very cool, useful tool, um, because it really shows us how much, like what you said earlier, like your worldview doesn't really is like it's kind of immovable. Um, I think, I think it's fair to say that the way we formulate a worldview isn't really a psychological thing, considering that it has to do with uh, topics that fall outside of the range of our mental processes. Um, but how we conduct ourselves from these universal truths and from these worldviews is often influenced by those deepest points of trauma, um, which are like really deep. The example I always use is, sorry, I think it's a really fun example because it's a great example, is you're 1 year old and you touch a burning pan and you get hurt, and then your parents yell at you for touching a burning pan, and now they're yelling at you and you're in pain and you can't understand why. Boom, instant trauma. Um, and so it's those things that really end up not making us who we are, but the things that end up determining how we conduct ourselves. Um, and so, like, in a situation for yourself where you have, I'm going to risk misrepresenting your position, where you have closed yourself off from people in your life due to uh, feelings of superiority. I'm sure also has a lot to do with the dynamic that you share with your mother. Understand so, by the way, considering the dynamic where you were throughout time like consistently uncovering these fantastic truths of the world, and the people around you closest to you, like your mother, were kind of getting left defined from these truths. Like this wasn't a mutual discovery. You were engaging it yourself, and then like you witnessed your mom continuing to do unconscious behaviors. And as a kid or a teenager, like fuck yeah, dude, that's gonna like absolutely.
It's like bound up somewhere, but I don't think it's like a.
What would I say? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't declare it as the determining factor for why you feel this way. I'm just citing an example, I suppose.
Just because I had this feeling, like I could trace this feeling back to at least like 8 years old.
Yeah.
So
right.
that's like before I had even any reason to think that I'm better than anyone else,
right?
Or any spiritual ego to like put myself above anyone.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool. I guess yeah. I'm really just citing an example here, and I could stop at any time. And so what's that? I really was taking the long way around to say that I think it's a really amazing thing to witness these things, because they usually happen most in deep, consistent, silent contemplation.
Yeah, that's for sure. Though, everything happens in divine synchronicity. But it's like what really revealed this was Nazca. Just in terms of like, it's like I either have to be like super attached to her, like in our toxic time, or it was like, or I have to just like shit talk her and not want to hear anything about her, And there's no, I guess it's just different with a girl, because it's like, I don't know, you like connect just in a different way than guys, and I have the same thing with you guys too, but it's not on that sort of like that extreme of a level. You know what I mean?
You're risking less in the relationship.
Yeah, in a way. Though with her, it's like I don't want to. Right? It just has like the propensity to. It has the ability to be, very like joined at the hip, I guess. Which is why it's like is more extreme, just because it has that ability and because we went through that history, right? But yeah, that's kind of what revealed it. But then yeah, just being alone and sitting with it for a long time is the way. I was like, more so than anything, I was a little bit frustrated. Not exactly frustrated, because it's like I always know that any bad feeling that I'm feeling will reveal itself. That this is like a movie, that everything here is done in divine synchronicity to reveal parts of you. So it's like, even if you have a bad feeling and you don't know exactly where it's from, you will encounter exactly the external situations you need to like find that out, and put you in a situation where it's like it'll be made clear, which is what happened. But I was like, for a few days when I didn't know, I was just like kind of frustrated that it's like, why do I feel this way, man? Like everything should be so chill. What do I have to like? I have nothing, like on paper, I have nothing wrong with my life. I have like, you know what I mean? Like, though I know it's just like, if you have something in your consciousness, then your life could either be the best thing ever, and you could be a homeless fuck with no money and no food and have the best life ever, or you could have everything and be miserable all the time, and it's just like boils down to your consciousness. But I was like not frustrated, but just like, man, I just don't know. It was like the first time in like so long where it's like I feel some way and I don't know why I feel that way. Mm-hmm. And that's just because it's like it's so like deeply settled in, like it's just like so part of the background now that it's like you don't see it anymore. And then once you see it and like take away the entire background, like take away you know, like the entire like backdrop to a play. It's like, what the fuck? That's like a lot of shit. You like took away all the trees and the houses and everything, like, you know, and now you gotta like make something else. Make
Took
something
away
new.
the whole Truman Show crew.
You took away the whole Truman Show crew, exactly.
all the tank masters and the lawn mowers.
It was funky. I had something else to say, but I forgot. It'll come up again. Yeah, just like I learned to kind of like hate the word love, honestly, because it's like just it's kind of what everybody just because I was imbalanced to that for so long, and just because that is like the focus point of so many like spiritual folks, just like just think hippies, right? Love and peace, man. Do drugs, have sex, and fucking like don't pay attention to your energy at all. Just love and peace. You know what I mean? And I'm just like learn to kind of like hate that and just be like, fuck that. Then it's like, why? Yeah, I had the thought of like just like plenty of examples. You know, like it's like I'm making juice for myself, or I'm making a lemonade for myself, right? And it's like I want my mom to be healthy. Who doesn't want their fucking moms to be healthy? You know what I mean? It's like you're not gonna like throw your life away for her to be healthy, but it's like, what do you have to lose? It's like you're making a juice. Why don't you make her a juice too? Like why not? Why not? What do you gotta fucking lose? And it'll be nice, and she'll be like thanks, and you'll be like yeah, and you'll feel nice, and she'll feel nice and great. Or you could be like a fucking dickhead. Or not even a dickhead, just kind of like in this attitude of like, no, you should do it yourself because, like, which I guess there's some merit to that in terms of like you doing the thing that's healing you, you know what I mean? But it's like, I know she's not gonna do it, you know, I know she's not gonna fucking make the lemonade herself, you know? So it's like, it's like, or you could just be like, yeah, like, why should I make your lemonade when it's like your healing or like whatever, you know? It's just like...
Exactly. It's a fine line to walk, and the line is always walked on the path of love, you know? It's like you'll do it for her if it's a loving thing action, and you'll refrain from doing it if it's a loving action. But there are times when you can refrain from doing it when it's not out of love, when you're just like, I want to serve myself, so I won't do it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's always like you follow your inner for those things, but it's like, for me, I just like made this like mechanism where it's like, fuck doing anything for anybody. Fuck them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, which is like, yeah, fuck them, but also like, the more you give, the more you get. That's also like a universal law, you know? Where you expect to like, cut off all... Sorry.
My boy learned from Tanjiro.
Yeah, Tanjiro. I literally thought of Tanjiro, bro, like the last 24 hours too. I was just like, that is, you know, you see somebody... Of course, everyone has their own imbalances, but it's like you see somebody that's like admirable in some way, like some person that like does a lot of exercise. You know what I mean? Like has like a really nice form, or like, you know, detox for a long time, or like, you know, or is just like a really good speaker or something, or anything. Like you just see something and you're just like, that's a cool quality to have. And I'm just like, why is being kind not a? Why is that a bad quality to have? You know? It's not. It's a great quality to have, because then you just chill and everyone's chill and you feel good and everyone feels good. You know, you're not trying to go around fixing everyone and like giving your energy away for free, like, to everyone. But it's like that just is in divine synchronicity of like, if it's healing and pleasant for you, then it's healing and pleasant for others. Like, and I just know this is all just like a backlash to like me being so so imbalanced towards that, like, working for everybody, like, mindset. But it was just like, realize, like, man, just like looking at all these things, like, there is another way. Like, and it is a like fucking objectively better way in every way for you and for everybody. Like, you know, and it's like, what do you expect? Like, you're gonna like cut yourself off from everywhere, hermit yourself into a fucking hole, and like. And then you expect, like, the love of the universe to, like, flow through you freely when you, like, built up all of these, like, artificial, like, barriers in your mind. and like
Mhm.
your heart, and you expect like to just like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Mhm.
though it is like, of course it's a hard thing to do, so I don't like blame myself for anything. It's like you gotta be on one side of the thing, you gotta be on the other side of the thing, and then you like balance out and center. You get centered eventually by exploring both sides, but it's just like now it's just like obvious. I was just like so much of the fucking like weird ass fucking things I'd be like like who like that thing when Artie told me that his friends they told him about the job. I was upset about that for days, dude. I was literally like not all day every day, but it's like for like a few hours every day I would like have a very 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 uncomfortable feeling. Like
What was the thing?
like when Artie told his friends about the job, about like the test automation stuff,
Mhm.
and I was just like, man, fucking NPCs didn't fucking deserve this. Like I wasn't really angry, but I was just like, I don't know, I felt like slighted. Like I felt like I don't know,
Like,
huh?
you're resentful.
Yeah, yeah. Like you guys, like who are these fucking idiots? They don't deserve this shit. Like you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's just like imagine being upset about that for days. Imagine having like a great time and that like ruining your time for like
No.
days. It's like
Yeah.
nonsense. Like
Well,
you know?
yeah.
And like I have this thing where just like being paranoid about random shit is just like so fucking useless. Like and I see it like stems from that. It like stems from like these blockages I make and like these distrusts I make. Like it translates like this distrust of the universe almost, which I know like consciously it's like I trust fully, but
Exactly those. Yeah.
it's like these like trauma or like tension points. They like create that distrust of the universe practically, and then it's just crazy that it's like it's bound up to so many things. So it's like I can really confidently say in like the last 4 years I have not had a realization like that was like this impactful and like so like literally everything, like straight up fucking everything, you know.
The good ending.
Yeah, no, for real.
Ah man. You know I love you so much, right?
Yeah, I love you too, man.
Thank you. So it's with a heavy heart that I submit my 7-minute one.
Yeah, that's valid. It's 12:30. I said everything I needed to say. I'm kind of just going around the block at this point.
Sure. No, and it's worth going around the block for. It's a very pretty view. Um. Yeah, man. I mean, I remember I was telling you about a realization that I came to a couple days ago about like my fear of disappointing people. And I know like that was a pretty big one for me too, because I know that was a very deep connection to things from my past as well, and it enabled me to like draw um, a lot of connections to behaviors I had in the past. But another one that came to my mind, I realized it when I was looking at an old family photo. Um, and what I realized was that I was mimicking my brother's behavior in the photo, and it like brain blasted me into realizing how growing up I always tried to emulate the people I admired, which was my dad and my older brother, and I would always try to act like them or make the same choices they made, eat the same foods they eat, um, without really giving any consideration for myself. And and that kind of led to this thing about like, uh, you love someone, you want to be like them. You've seen My Hero Academia, and you know that lady who's fucking who is you love them, you want to be them, all that stuff.
Mm.
And so a big part of that kind of led to like if and this is what I realized was like, if I'm not acting like them, then they will not be pleased with me, you know. And so they're kind of, I guess, like I'm postulating led to this people pleasing dynamic. Maybe, maybe not. But it was a big one. It was a big one, and it definitely helped me connect a lot of things. So I know the feeling, and it's a fucking wonderful feeling.
No, that
It's a
is.
wonderful thing you're going through. I don't need to tell you not to take for granted because I know you don't take fucking anything in your life for granted, and that's cool as fuck. So I'm really excited to see where you go with it from it.
Hold on, dude. Watch you become like me and I become like you. Watch it happen. Watch in a year from now, you become a jaded fucking asshole, and I become a lovey-dovey piece of shit. Watch it. Watch it happen, dude.
You become a fucking puppy dog, and I become a fucking kid. Yeah, that's funny. No, I really, really love the idea of you opening up your heart to the possibilities of life and human interaction. At least from my perspective, I perceive it as a big opening up of your heart.
It
Of
is.
your,
It really is.
shaky heart.
You know, it's interesting. This feeling in my throat, I have it, it's still there. It's still, this whole conversation's still there. But it's interesting because this feeling, it makes me want to cry. I don't know if I actually elaborated on this. It's like the feeling that you have right before you cry. I told you about it. You said it really good. It's like the choking up feeling, right? And it's just interesting that you could cry from sadness or you can cry from beauty. And like when I discovered, like before I knew what it was, it felt like a sadness cry. But then now when I have it, when I discover what it was, it feels like a beauty cry because I feel really happy. I feel like insanely happy.
No, that's woke as fuck. No, that's so woke. That's so cool.
Yeah, but it's like it's the same feeling, you know. But
No, that's so cool because it's like that's straight out of a fucking movie or an anime, where it's like this whole time, like the characters like, what is this feeling? What is this feeling? This is so bad, you know. And then like something happens, and it was like, oh my god, this feeling is the beauty I'm experiencing right now. It's like, oh wait, what? Oh, I'll run that back real quick.
no, literally. I had that thought. I had that feeling today because I'm just like, before I was, I was sad, but I was like sad because I didn't know. But now it's like I'm like lit the fuck up because like when I have like work to do, when I have something I feel like is important to do, I'm just like so hyped and happy and like full of purpose, like and our purpose here, our biggest purpose here is to resolve ourselves, and I would just have like this giant mountain or like just like this huge thing that is like wow, that's there and it's like to be worked on, and I'm just like so happy that I have some a direction, very obvious direction.
No, exactly. It's a lot of shit to unwind. It's a lot of source material to animate. You can really work with that. You can chew on that for a long time.
Yeah. It's not this isn't like a 1 or 2 day thing. Definitely, it's like a
that's a whole character. That's a whole character arc in itself.
Yeah.
And so we'll yield the fruits of a character arc, and it's a very exciting thing. We're all really at a critical junction for character arcs, and I think it's really beautiful.
It is a beautiful time, dude. Dang is.
So I wish you all the best. I wish you so much best, man. I can't wait to see what happens next. And same with Artie. Are you listening over there, buddy? I wish you so much good, bro. I wish you like such a bright, exciting future, like immediate future. And I know you're gonna get it because you're a bright and exciting individual. You're muted, but
it's funny you specified immediate future because I'm actually more like You know, like that fearful side of anticipation, or not necessarily fear, but kind of where you're like sort of just like at the edge of your seat always because you don't know what to expect and don't immediately have a reason to expect good things. I have that feeling for my immediate future. At least, like, until I get a job from this programming thing.
That's good shit. That's good shit. I could smoke that shit. I could pack that in my pipe and smoke it for sure.
Nice.
Take it right out of a girl's asshole out of necessity and not preference. Let's smoke it then.
Very good.
James,
Very
your 7-minute resume is up.
It's up. That's it.
A 7. I was like, when Artie was talking, I was laughing at myself about that phrase. 7-minute resume? What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, so you do the thing.
Your 7-minute necessity.
Yeah, 7-minute necessity. Nice.
Very good. Very good. Oh man, I love you guys so much.
Love you too, bro.
We love you too, man.
It's an awesome
Yeah.
process to go through.
That's an awesome thing, man.
We out here.
Oh, we fucking out here, boys. The boys.
The boy, what the goy? What the goy?
I put my twin brother onto the term goy slop. He dug it.
Nice. That's funny.
That's the vegetarian one, right?
No, fun. He's milk. He's a vegetarian.
He's what?
I'm talking about my twin. My older brother's the vegetarian. My twin is just
Oh.
standard diet.
So why does he like the term then?
Because it's funny and offensive.
Oh, you guys hate Jews in the family?
Yeah, but mostly jokingly. No one actually, like, unironically hates Jews except for my dad.
Nice.
That's
I
fun.
feel like your dad's not as. Maybe some of his lies are justified.
Yeah, but he, like, hates Jews for, like, non-woke reasons, you know?
Why does he hate them?
Because they're Jewish, like, you know?
Because they're Christians, dude. Because they killed Jesus. Or,
Yeah, 'cause
right?
they
Yeah.
killed
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? That's such a bullshit reason to hate someone.
What do you mean? It's like if they killed your dad, then you'd be like, you'd hate the shit out of
Pretty
him.
good, yeah.
Yeah, but my dad's not real.
Get right, Dad.
Did he ever tell you that? He's like, how would you feel if a group of people killed me?
He never said that, but he has said they killed Jesus, so...
You should have been like, do you have any proof?
No, I agree.
But your family's like not like religious, is it?
My family's incredibly religious.
Really?
Yeah.
Like church going?
Dude, I wake up every fucking 6:30 on Sunday to go to church.
Really?
You didn't know this? He's always like, Jim's always
I know
like,
you go to church. But like your dad goes too?
Bro, they're the only reasons I go. You think I voluntarily wake up at 6:30 to go to church?
James is not a Christ cook.
Not Christ cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell your dad you're converting to Islam?
I have made that joke before. And I will tell me something about how he's not surprised and blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah, that's such a dad thing to say, dude. That's such a dad thing to say in response to a joke, man.
Just so you abandon the conversion out of like disappointment of his reaction.
Yeah. No, I mean like they always joke that I'm like an apostate, you know. One time my dad called me an atheist, bro. I was like, don't ever fucking insult me like that again.
Nah, that's funny. You know, I was a hardcore atheist. I was like a hardcore atheist in like 7th grade.
There you were.
I told you about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, the first things I do about you.
Dude, I hated those Christians. I
Talk
hated
about
it. I was like, they're so stupid. They're religious people are so fucking stupid. God isn't real. Dude, can you see him? I hated the shit out of him. I was like my whole identity in like 7th grade, like half of 8th grade.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I was cursing out God for making my life so miserable. I'm like, you're a fucking faggot. I literally told I was 5. I told God he's a fucking faggot.
Dude, that's legit. Dude.
You literally talked to God when you were 5, the same way you talked to ChatGPT at one time, like 2 weeks ago.
Dude. Yeah. ChatGPT is so helpful, by the way. It's so helpful.
Yeah, that's great.
What does it actually do that's useful?
It's like if you could just Google something and always get the exact answer you want in like 4 paragraphs.
Alright, you could literally use ChatGPT to do all your homework for you.
No, that's cheating.
Yeah, but
And
then
then
you wouldn't learn
Diego-
anything, so we wouldn't know.
Diego will find out and beat me.
I'm not saying he should. I'm just demonstrating the usefulness of ChatGPT.
Oh,
Well,
for
that's not very
coding.
useful.
For coding also, you can straight like ask
Yeah.
it coding questions. Like
Code, it can code for you.
it's like really
Really?
good at just like straight up like
Coding things for you.
yeah. Which is not like I mean in test automation it's like you need to learn how to organize a framework so it can't like do that for you. But in terms of like if you just wanted to write some code to like you know like if you're like making a I feel like it's more useful for developers in that way cuz you like for testing the coding is not that difficult. It's sort of like more so organizing things is more difficult about it.
Bro, Michael, how funny would it be if you and me just got replaced by AI like 2 weeks after getting a job?
You know, I'm really thinking that's probably going to happen soon. And in that case,
Direct cuck.
you get...
No, you
push-
guys are safe. You guys are safe. It's the software engineers that are going to go first. You guys are fine.
The
Who?
software engineers?
It's the engineers that will go first, and that's going to be the
How do you know that, though?
going to be the testers. What's that?
How do you know that?
Makes sense to me.
It's just logic. It's logic. Think about the functions that an AI can fill. You know, they can't like test things effectively.
You know what the problem is? Yeah, no, you're totally right, James. Because it's like, yeah, you could just tell ChatGPT, like, hey, make me a website with, like, these features, and it'll make it, you know? And then you just, like, can tweak the design a little bit, and then, boom.
You muted yourself when you said that.
Oh, I said, like, yeah, you could just tell ChatGPT, like, make a website with these features, and then you just tweak the design a little bit how you want. Like, maybe you need a developer for that. But, yeah, like, you need a designer or a developer for that, but, like, otherwise, you know. No, but the AIs,
No.
you could, they have, like, the picture AIs, too. So you could, like, straight up, like... Yeah, no, I could see that being like pretty well replaced. Like you could give it like a rough draft, like literally like a paper drawing of how you would want the website to look and like what features you want on it, and I could totally see it just like make exactly what you want. You know,
I'm sure it will be fine.
like you need a graphic designer. You wouldn't even need a fucking like developer at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about testing is that it's like most of the bugs are not actual like straight up like shit that doesn't work because the developers test their own code. They're not like retarded.
Yeah, we talked about this before, and it makes a lot of sense because like there's no real error in the code. The computer will always execute code exactly as you input it. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong.
Yeah, well, it's just like, you know, it's not going to be like, how to say, like, say you have a website with, like, some links on it. Like, the links are probably going to fucking work. Like, the developers will, like, test their own shit, you know what I mean? But most of, like, the definition of a bug is technically just anything that the client doesn't want. Or, like, the people paying you to make this shit, some misconception or some assumption made about the project, about, like, the feature, that's like not what they wanted. So
Right. Exactly.
in that case, like a large part of the testing job is like to speak directly to like the client about what they want and like what is the exact acceptance criteria we're trying to like achieve here. Like for example, it's like, you know, it's like Amazon, they have like those banners at the top of the page of like, I don't know, that's like grocery, Prime, whatever, like, you know, at the Amazon webpage, then just like right below the logo you have just like a menu. of just like quick links, you know? And like if you make the page smaller, then it's like those quick links, some of them like disappear, you know? So instead of like 10 of them, there'll be like 7, right? Depending on like what your screen size is. So it's like, is that a bug or not? You know, that would be like a prime example of like.
Good example. Very nice.
Yeah, so it's like AI can't really like, you know, in that case, it's just like you have to talk with people and shit. So it's like AI can't really do that. So yeah, it's like the developer is more at risk. You're right. Like the developer is more at risk in terms of getting replaced.
Well, listen, I am not concerned at all because I know that Diego of Chromatech Academy would never trick us into thinking that we're gonna get a job, something that he knows is doomed to fail. He certainly would not charge us $5,000 for that.
Dude, we're all gonna get fired, and Diego too, and then we're gonna make our own company. It's gonna be you, me, and Diego, and James. And James is gonna take class 2. James is gonna sell us real estate, and then we're gonna perform testing on the real estate.
Yeah.
Okay, have our own company.
I'm gonna like sell it to you guys, and then you guys are gonna like test it for me, and then somehow we're gonna make money on that.
Test that in real estate real good. Everyone's gonna take pictures of us. You're gonna be like, "Can I get $5 for that picture?" They'd be like, "Yup." And then boom, best company ever.
I was gonna pull up, just take go on the wall and just be like, yeah, that's real estate.
That's real estate, dude. We're gonna be the best testers ever. We're gonna be the best real estate ever. And we're gonna be renegades because everyone else is gonna be fucking on their AI bullshit. We're gonna be like, we manually tested this real estate, motherfucker.
Just pull up to someone's house like right after you sell it to them. Like literally, like the same like 5 minutes that you give them, that you hand over the keys. You just come to the front door, knock, be like, yo, we gotta stress test this bitch, and start just going at the walls with like sledgehammers.
Yeah.
Be like, yo, we gotta make sure it stands the test, you know.
Boom. Very good. James, your resume is overcooked by 13 minutes.
Your resume is literally well done.
Michael, the way you're insisting makes it seem to me like you want me to leave.
No, it's not.
We want you to be a man of your word.
I just like,
That's totally different things.
No, I just am cognizant that maybe, I know you always want to stay longer, but I'm just cognizant that, I don't know, maybe you're tired.
No, that's totally fair, and that's cool, and
it's like I'm just offering you an out, you know what I mean?
Thank you. I will humbly and graciously accept that out.
Yeah.
And it's okay, because I know you actually did want me to leave, so.
No, I'm chilling like a motherfucker, honestly. I'm having mad fun. I'd talk for another, like, 2 hours.
No, you're good, bro. You don't need, I know you hate me, it's all good.
What the fung?
I definitely hate you.
Artie only likes video games.
I came into this call knowing already that you hate me, so we're good there.
How did you know?
I don't know, it's the way you just so erotically expose your nipples to me.
Hey, Michael's guilty of it too.
James took his shirt off for the first time in his life today.
Yeah, but you have more like erotic pose.
James, do you sleep in your shirt too?
What the fuck is wrong with you niggas, bro?
Wait, James, you sleep with a shirt on?
I'm so cozy, bro. You guys gotta chill.
Oh, you actually sleep with a shirt on?
What a fucking weirdo.
No, what's wrong with you niggas, bro?
What a stranger.
No, you sleep naked as fuck. I seen you.
Bro, I've literally fucking like tickled your butthole while we're sleeping in the same room.
What?
Possibly.
I remember.
What did you say?
I said I tickle Michael's butthole when we're sleeping in the same room together. How could he possibly assume that I sleep with clothes on?
Out of necessity, but not preference, mind you. He left. Nice.
That was a good one.
Yeah, no. That was a good meme. That was a good whole thing. I dug that whole exchange.
Right?
This is
very good.
What platform is this game on? GameCube?
PS3.
PS3. I see.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an emulator.
Yeah, right.